Let's end that section there, and we will now do an embargo section for 10:30 tomorrow night. If you want to raise your hand to ask a question, Matt Dunn.
Hi, Frank. You said that the message was clear going into the game and they didn't carry it out. When that's the case, when you go into the next game, do you say the message again, or do you say it a different way, or how do you deal with that?
Well, that's my job. We have to approach so many games that the message which I'm talking about is the simple, basic one, which is running and sprinting and doing the real basics in football. So really, that's nothing new today. I'll say that today. I'll say it before Aston Villa. I'll say it before every game. Sometimes you feel like you need to be more vocal on the point, and I was today because I understood the nature of this game and it was a dangerous game. And obviously, the players didn't take that on board into the first half. The second half, we did, and you saw the difference. You know, one team had real energy and a lot of control, but by then it was too late.
But how do you make it different next time?
But the players have to make it different on the pitch. So, you know, the message is clear. I'll go over it again if you want and say that the basics are to run and to sprint, and the players have to do it on the pitch.
Let's go to Andy Dillon.
Hi, Frank. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, mate, yeah.
Hi, Frank. I just wondered, the West Bromwich Albion away performance was seen as a bit of a landmark. In that game, your team came back from 3 down and got a point. You kind of set about that a bit, but you didn't achieve it today. Is this worse than that one in what you've seen? And I just wonder, how far back do you think today has set you in terms of your plans for this bunch of players?
Well, it set us back 3 points in the short term, and out the first half was certainly our worst performance of the season, as far as I saw it, because it lacked the energy. And I think at West Bromwich Albion, I think there were sort of clear errors and culmination of things that went against us in the game a little bit, and the lads turned it around, to give them credit. Today, the way we approached the first half on pitch wasn't right. So it certainly is something. We're seeing it a lot this season. We've seen some crazy results for a lot of teams. There's some ups and downs, and at the minute we're in a position where out of the last 4 games, we've lost 3 of them, 1-1. So that needs a reaction.
Physical fatigue. I mean, you're all roughly in the same boat, I guess. The top clubs of Europe, maybe not. You've got the hangover maybe from the Champions League, but is physical fatigue any sort of excuse for that today?
Not today, no.
So how do you re-energise physically your players now? Because you play again in 48 hours.
Yeah, there'll be some changes, and I know that anyway. That I'm certainly not going to bang the drum about the quick turnaround after our performance today. It's not the important point. But to play in 2 games in 2 days, we have to make changes anyway. Some of them will now happen as well because of how the game went, and people will have to come in and inject the energy and the personality. It is in our normal performances. Normally, the reason we went so many games unbeaten was because of that. So we've come off that, and we must come back on it quickly. I think some of it is maybe where we're at as a squad. People wanted to talk us up as title contenders. I never accepted that as the case because we're not there. That takes time to build. And days like today are ones that we certainly have to learn a very big lesson from, everybody, myself included, because when I see that in the first half, I don't like it. So it can't happen.
I just wondered, personality is not something your teams lack. They might lack other things, but not character and personality, or do they, do you think? And is that a big underlying problem you've got to address?
Today they did, and today they did, and the players know that. The first half we lacked it. The second half we didn't, to be fair, and there'll be some players that will come out with credit for the performances in the second half. But today we did. I'm not going to generalise that that's the case, because it's not. But today we did, and football will punish you if you do turn up and have that sort of lack of the basics in your game.
Thanks, Frank.
Cheers, Andy.
Let's go back to Ian Bolton.
Hi, Frank. Listen, a question about Aston Villa. What do you sense is different about them this season?
Well, I think they're a good team with very good individual players. I thought they obviously added to their squad in a very good way in the off season. Good manager, good coaches, good players that are playing well. They're in a really good time at the moment. So I'm not completely surprised by it, but it's obviously going to be a tough match.
Sure. I mean, how impressed are you by their current run? It's 4 clean sheets in a row. Do you see John Terry's influence in them defensively?
Yeah, I'm sure John has an influence because of one of the great, in my opinion, the greatest centre backs has played in the Premier League and for England and in the world for a long period of time with an absolute wealth of knowledge of the game. So his input will be invaluable to Dean Smith and all the staff. And obviously the team are working hard, and you've seen a real big uplift in them. And I'm sure there's a lot of work behind the scenes through John and all the staff there.
Wish you well, Frank.
Thank you.
Let's go to Sammy.
Hi, Frank. Can I just ask? This is the first difficult run you've been on, obviously, this season. You're obviously learning. You always say you learn about your players every day, but do you necessarily learn more about your players in these next 2 or 3 games where you're trying to dig yourself out of a little bit of a rut?
Yeah, I think you certainly do. The players, I'll learn about the players have to learn about themselves. Some of them are young, some of them are new to the Premier League, and these tough times are things that we will have to go through. I don't think this season was ever going to be a plain sailing and a winning every week. We got confident when we got into a position where we were not losing games, winning a lot of games. Things are pretty easy at that point. When you lose a couple of games, they become much tougher, and you have to. The only way out of it is to fight and to work hard. So that's what I will be instilling in the players, that idea, because it's the only way that you get out of what is a difficult little period for us. But at the same time, when we look at ourselves in the table, we're still close to the top end of the table, when I thought there's a big uplift of improvement coming because of the youth in our team and the freshness in terms of players that have come in. So I expect that, but we have to work for it.
Are the answers to getting out of that rut, are they the same answers that you found when you went on that long unbeaten run, or you have to play a slightly different game?
Well, I think when we changed the system before, it certainly helped us to get an uplift because we're not feeling as fluid as we like to be, and it's my job then to look at it and feel if we can be better, and I think it helped. But obviously the players are the ones, as much as the players were not good today in the first half, they were very good for a long period and improving in that unbeaten run. So it's a case of staying strong mentally and just bringing back the good basics to get you on that run, because we have a talented squad. There's a lot of uplift in it, but you have to keep hitting the basics day in, day out. And you know, the few defeats we've had recently are because we dropped off. The players have dropped off a level. My job is to pick it back up.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, let's finish with James Robson.
Hi, Frank. Can I just ask what you'll do now between this game and Tuesday? Do you plan to see the players, or is it you leave them alone now until Tuesday?
No. We're in tomorrow normally, so we'll have to prepare for the game as we always would. But it'll obviously be a lot of recovery for players that have played minutes. Some of the players that haven't played today have done some work on the pitch afterwards, and we'll prepare for Villa as we normally would in terms of we're looking at them and getting ourselves right.
And Ziyech?
He won't be fit.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.